Hey folks, Piano Man Steve Lungrin here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm the founder of the Piano Man Approach online piano courses. And by founder, I mean the guy who created them and filmed them and all that stuff. But I'm sure you kind of figured that one out already. Thanks for tuning in. This is one of my weekly freebies here, where I just try to show you something that you might be able to use in your piano playing to improve your experience, have more fun, and sound more the way you want to sound. So today we're going to be looking at something I call the Bluesy attack, which is something that I use all the time. And no matter what level of piano you are at, whether you're kind of a novice or an intermediate or an advanced player, if you're not already doing this, this is something that can enhance pretty much anything else that you're already doing. So before I get into it really quick, if you enjoy this kind of free content, I would sure appreciate it if you give the video a like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think and share this with people that you think might enjoy it. All that stuff helps me beat the algorithm, and I sure appreciate it. I promise to squander my earnings that come as a result of it on food and electricity. Okay. So the Bluesy attack. Essentially, the Bluesy attack is anytime you're about to play a chord, and it could be any kind of chord, and it could be any inversion of a chord. It's where you choose one note, and you slide off of, you flat the note, and you slide off of that into the note that you intended. So let me give you an example. If we're on a C major chord, which I'm going to play it like this, okay, which is a full octave chord, C, E, G, C. It would not have to be a full octave chord. It could be a 3-note chord or whatever, but I just tend to do this a lot. I'm going to choose one note, and I'm going to flat it. Let's take the 3. 1, 3, 5, 1, right? So I'm going to take the 3. I'm going to flat it, and I'm going to slide off that flat into the intended note on the attack. Very, very seamless. All right, now let's get the thumb out of there and let's make it a smaller chord, and let's just play it like this again. Do you hear how that, when you attack a chord like that, it creates a little bit of an edge, a little bit of crispness, a little bit of edginess, if you will, intensity, attitude. And that is useful in a lot of ways. It adds character. It adds, it just puts an intangible there for the listener, and they don't know exactly what it is. But it's, especially in a live music setting, can really differentiate your playing. Sometimes you do less of that when you're recording. Not that you have to, but sometimes when you're in the recording studio, you simplify the playing a little bit, and because you're really going for cleanliness as much as anything else, cleanliness of attack. But when you're live, these kinds of things really make so much difference. Let me give you an example. You can also do this on the 5. This is the 3. 1, 3. We could do it on the 5 here, on that G. We could go. And there's no right or wrong, okay? There's no right or wrong to this. It is your choice as to which one you want to use. But it works beautifully, and let me show you how in practice it might be used. So let's take a song that's got a little bit of a bluesy attitude to begin with, like I guess that's why they call it The Blues by Elton John. Starts out, and it's something like this. Okay? Sounds fine. But if I were to take that principle and I were to do a bluesy attack on at least some of those, it might be like this. I might start that first note, I might do the bluesy attack. See how I flatted it and then slid right into the intended note. Now I'm going to do it again here on this E minor chord. It's an E minor 7, which essentially means I'm playing an E in the bass and like a G chord up here, because an E minor 7 would be those notes, E, G, B, and D, like so. So, and now I'm going to slide off of that top note like so. See how much more edgy that makes it? You see how, can you hear how that just adds a lot more spunk, a lot more attitude to that line than was there when you just play. No. So, and then I could even do this. I could even do that same bluesy attack on that final note here on this F chord, on that A flat into the A. And even at the beginning, it doesn't have to be a chord. It could be at the beginning of a little arpeggio or a little lick or something. So instead of, see how I came off of that A flat? So something that would have sounded like this. Okay, it becomes this. You know? So that's just one example of how the bluesy attack can really transform the character of something you're playing. And it really doesn't change what you're playing. It's just a change in the way that you choose to attack the chord or the beginning of a riff. Here's some other ideas. Like, let's say that we were playing a song that maybe... I love the song Change the World by Eric Clapton. And that was originally done on guitar, but we can play it on piano, you know. It's like an E chord, F sharp minor 7, and then like a G6, right? Well, what if I do a bluesy attack underneath here, like so? On every one of those, I do a bluesy attack. So I slide off of this G natural into the G sharp. I slide off of the G sharp into that A. And then I slide off of that B flat onto the B. And again, coming back down, instead of just, excuse me, instead of keeping it clean like that, I go. And do that bluesy attack again, from here to here. If I could reach the stars, right? So just an example of how even when you're playing a song that wasn't originally on piano and maybe there's nobody doing that already, but you can decide to do it yourself because you just like what it adds to the song. You like what it adds. You like putting that little bit of extra punch, that little bit of extra edge, little whatever in there. Another good example of that sort of thing was I did a cover with a friend of mine for YouTube for Fat Bottom Girls by Queen, and we decided we wanted to try putting it together so we wanted it to have the same feel as the original, but we wanted no electric guitar. We just wanted piano, bass, and drums and vocals. And so I had to come up with some way to do the kind of crunchy guitar thing, right? But I wasn't going to be running this through some kind of amplifier and putting distortion on it. So what my chore was, how do I give it a little bit of extra edge so that it's not just the sound of a piano going. Right? So the first thing that I did was I made it power chords rather than full chords. And power chords means you take a major chord and then you take out the 3 and all you have is the 1 and the 5. That helps. It makes it a little less cheesy. But then I used this bluesy attack a lot. See, boom. I took that 5, flatted it. I was just a skinny lad, never knew no good from bad. See? I went to the G chord, same thing. Power chord and a lot of that bluesy attack. Hello, my big fat fatty, big woman, you made a big boy out of me. So the point is, that gave me the edge that I needed to make the song not sound so cheesy, even though we didn't have crunch guitar involved. And I'm really proud of the way that particular cover came out. Now, maybe your cup of tea may not be, but it's a good example of a place where you might want to use a bluesy attack. Is something like that. If you're going to play heavier music and you're kind of carrying it on piano, whereas, maybe it's most famously carried by electric guitar, particularly if it's got a crunch or distortion in it. So another place would be anytime you're playing kind of a gospel-y type thing. So like Let It Be by the Beatles has got some moments that would work really well here. Kind of starts out more vanilla. When it gets to the part in the middle where it goes, right? That's a great place for a bluesy attack. As opposed to just coming down on, let's see, it gives it a little bit of a bluesy feel, which in this case indicates more gospel than attitude, but but note the difference. This is without it. Oh, excuse me, I did that wrong, guys. There we go. Or then coming into that guitar solo, you can give it a little bit more edge, right? It becomes bluesier. It becomes more soulful. pretty much every time I come down on that C chord, I'm doing that attack. And it just, I don't know, it's such a simple, it's amazing to me how much mileage you get in the sound, in the texture, in the attitude, in the character of what you're playing with such a simple thing. I mean, you don't have to move your hand. It's like right there for the taking. You just take one of the notes out of the chord, you flat it, and you just slide off. Just huge value add. And, you know, you can overuse it. But the main thing I would say is when you're deploying this technique, try it in any and every song. Every kind of song, just try it. And then decide song by song, phrase by phrase, situation by situation, whether you like the sound of it there. Because you are the ultimate arbiter of this. Like, there is no right or wrong way to do it. It's you are making that choice. So see what you think. And, you know, your opinion may evolve on it over time, but the idea is try it on ballads, try it on fast songs, try it on different kinds of things, and you're going to like a cleaner sound sometimes. You're going to like this sound sometimes, but it's a really great tool to have in your kit that you can pull out at any moment because, like I say, it doesn't require you to move your hand around. You're just on a chord, and you're just going to, the way you attack the chord, ba-doom. And if it's in the right spot and you like how it sounds, it's a major value add for very, very little effort. And so it's something that I use a ton of. I'm going to let it be, no pun intended, for right now with that. But we may revisit this in some future videos that we put out on YouTube and look at it from some more angles. So, but hopefully this has given you something that you'll be able to take with you into your piano playing right now and enhance what you're doing to some degree and have a little more fun and sound a little more the way you want to sound. So if that has happened, then I have accomplished what I set out to do. Okay, please check us out over at pianomanapproach.com if you enjoy this kind of content. We've got some free stuff over there for you, and we'd love you to be part of our community if you are a fan of what we do over there, and you can learn a lot more, no strings attached, over at pianomanapproach.com. And in the meantime, have a great week. I'll see you again. I'll be back with more of this stuff sooner than, probably in about a week. So I'll be back really, really soon, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch. So I'll get out of here. Remember, if you're not having fun when you're making music, you're doing it wrong, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.